Network. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to our guest today. Hello, Kelley. How are you?
I'm great. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. It is lovely to meet you and to have you here with us at the Women's Wellness Network. So let's start off first. Please tell us where in the world it is that you are.
I'm located in Talent, Oregon, which is near Ashland in Southern Oregon, just over
Awesome.
the California border.
Oh, so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I've been as far as just over the California border. I grew up in British Columbia, so
Oh, yeah,
just a little bit north of you there. Beautiful country. Oh my goodness. So
it's
much
gorgeous.
nature. Oh yeah. No wonder you have a big beautiful tree behind you and that's one of your things because
Yep,
you can't
the
help,
tree
can't
line.
help it, right?
Yeah,
That's amazing. Awesome. Okay, so can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us who Kelley is in the world.
Oh, certainly. I would love to. I have a healing practice. It's called Love, Wisdom, Power, Paths to Wholeness. And I've been in practice for 31 years. I specialize in deep core emotional healing work using inner child work and blending ancestral healing and doing past life karma work. And I'm also working with elementals, teaching people to embrace their inner dragon and connect to the elemental power that's kind of, to me, going through a grand awakening on the planet, more so with our own evolutionary shift. So, coming into a new earth and working with teaching people to embrace this new creation energy that's coming up. So, I've become more and more as an elder now, new earth leadership and teaching people how to find their diamond, if you will, their spark and their purpose and know their gifts. And my work around wholeness is really all about that, helping people to live in purpose, awareness with themselves and find their gifts and be expressing them fully.
Mm, beautiful.
So
Oh my gosh, beautiful and so necessary right now on the planet. Everything's changing and growing, and some people are, not knowing what to do or where to go or who to look to or any of that stuff, where to start. So,
yeah.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit of like how you work with people?
Yeah, so oftentimes I first of all, I really like to connect. And I believe that when you have a heart to heart connection with the people you're working with, you can decipher from that heart to heart in the conversation we have, what is it that you're needing. So I usually do a 45-minute interview with people to determine what my gifts might be able to do in terms of service. So, and just being able to meet them where they are. So I have a lot of different talents. I'm an intuitive healer, artist, musician, and storyteller. So I bring all of that to bear. And my students would tell you that I've sang to them, you know, I play music with them. I do light language. I also have energy healing gifts, and I put them into a temple of light and do spiritual navigation with them. So, the reason I say navigate is that I don't do stuff to them. I activate a space with the divine light holding us, and then I go into a self healing process with them where they're empowered to know and understand themselves more. So everything that I do is focused on the individuals that I work with learning how to trust themselves, understand that they're hearing from the aspects of themselves or the parts of themselves or the divine, and build a kind of connection between themselves and the source so that they build this trust bridge. So many people I meet don't trust themselves and they don't trust how to get direction, and they feel frustrated because they want to be able to be empowered. And oftentimes there's all kinds of stories or belief systems that have landed in on us that prevent us from being able to really say yes to
Mm,
us.
yeah.
So I work very diligently with the people who become my clients to get them to that place where they feel like they have their own yes,
Mm,
and they have their own clarity, and they have their own certainty. And without a doubt, the majority of my clients feel empowered to be that self-possessed, self-aware, um, what I call your own authentic validation for who you are, and in your knowing about it is just so it's such a deep, wonderful, comforting place to get to in yourself. And it serves you as well because it stems into your creative power. Your visions and your ideas about what you could be doing oftentimes are limited by the way you limit yourself.
Mm,
So when we come into a more expanded consciousness of seeing ourselves in a greater light, oftentimes our creative gifts expand with that. So it affects, I always call it the flowering language of life around you. Everything blooms from the center. So when we start to feel more confident and certain of ourselves, that stems into having an effect on not only yourself but your relationships and your actions in life. Your career, your community, how you engage, and how people meet you and how you show up.
mm,
And the biggest thing with integration is landing fully into who you are, so that when you go to express, you're actually present.
right.
And a big part of being more embodied is being able to be in that sense, holding more and greater presence in all that you do. And my clients
Absolutely.
experience that.
Oh my gosh, I totally resonate with this. I totally get it and I love it and it's amazing and I'm so excited because you have like all these different things that you use that are outside of the normal, let's call it. Different
Mhm.
ways to work with people, connect with them. That's
Yeah,
that and helping them connect
mhm.
elsewhere is,
Oh yeah.
that's
I
that's
hear.
important, right? And you said about the trust thing. And I know for myself also, that was one of my biggest challenges was learning how to trust myself. And
Yeah.
man, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, especially if you just try and do it on your own. So finding people that can guide you in that way is, I think that's what we're doing here. I think what we're doing together is, figuring out that. And
Well, I think it's
go
important for
ahead.
people to find other people that they can trust to work with.
Right.
Trust is an increasingly challenging thing right now in our world, especially since we've unleashed AI.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of there's way too much to say about that in a few minutes, but I'm not anti-AI, by the way. I just believe that we created a consciousness, only we don't, when we invent new things as a species, we don't always realize what we're doing. And so when we step off onto a new arena, having not really learned yet a lot of things about what the dynamics of having AI in our world will do, there's a lot of people who are doing mimicking and falsifying information and putting out false data, false images, half the time, because now AI can take your video and then pretend to be you.
Right.
Our increased desire to understand what's real and our need to know if we can trust things is going to become exponentially more important. And, one of the things I think I value a lot is being in a direct relationship with my clients, so that I'm actually doing one on one work with them, speaking directly to them. And for the last 31 years, the majority of the time, I have been sharing about my work, it's been through referral. So been going through word of mouth and not so much on social media. And so I stepped back into social media and beginning to do more with exposing myself through groups, and beginning to get more involved with putting myself out there in the world. And part of that for me, I will say, is because I'm working on a book right now that covers a lot of the map of what I learned in the last 31 years, mapping out the information of what I take people through to help them get to being whole, and understanding what wholeness is, because that's a real broad statement. The wholeness can be a lot of things, and it's always going to be ongoing. If anyone's learning and wise, that you never stop learning. So, you know, you gotta
Always
be
more.
able to. achieve certain things without saying, and this isn't everything, but
Yeah.
this is something of
Right?
what we've rocked so far. So, in that state of being always willing to learn. Yeah. So, but I have definitely accomplished a certain level of knowledge and wisdom that I feel is really benefiting the people that I've been working with. And yeah, I love what I get to do with people and helping them transform themselves and come into their own greaterness, you know,
Yeah,
especially with,
yeah, well, yeah, of course, especially nowadays and, all the things, all the things. And I think you said 31 years you've been doing this. That's
yep,
yeah, that's a good chunk of time to
yep,
hone something, to really step into the power of, your purpose. And
yeah.
that's amazing. So before 31 years, what were you doing? Were you always a healer in
Well,
your heart, or
that's a great
how'd
question.
you get here?
Yeah, I wasn't doing healing work and I didn't have a big desire in my experience to become a healer. Um, in fact, I was art director and graphic designer. I meet so many visionary people who are healers that were once graphic designers. It cracks me up. It's kind of like we all kind of had the same flavor going.
Pre
So I meet my family a lot as a healer in that previous career. But so I went to the Colorado Institute of Art. I grew up in Colorado and Louisiana. I spent half my life in the South growing up. I was born in Louisiana, and then I moved to Colorado with my family in my teens. And I was always in love with art. Art and expression has always been a big part of my life. Um, but for me, something happened, something really amazing happened in my 30s, which I stepped into my native roots. My family have Choctaw and Cherokee ancestry, and something for me really clicked in that was had a lot of meaning for me. And I met a teacher, and oftentimes you'll meet a teacher that will ignite or teach you things that then wake you up. But for me, I had a very different kind of experience with that. I met a Native American teacher who had very similar. He is part Native American, half Native and half Scottish, which is what I am, part Native, part Scottish. And so I'm Scotch Irish and probably a lot of other roots. But the reason I bring the roots isn't to wave my flags, it's to share how knowing and meeting my own indigenosity and my bloodlines helped me find my gifts. And when I started tapping into that, I found that I could communicate with animals. I had an instinct for being able to understand and track emotional feelings and behavior patterns. And I began to wake up all of these amazing things. But the first thing that happened was my teacher was teaching us a 6 week class for going on our first journey to Vision Quest. And when I showed up at his second class, he said, You're advanced. Spirit said, You're ready. You can come. We're going next weekend. So I got told that I could go vision questing with no training from him and no prep. And that week, my ancestors showed up and they were like my guides. And I had been praying and meditating like for like 9 years at least. And I had not had ever this very vivid connection with my guides. Well, that week, my guides showed up like you and I are talking right now. And I could see them, I could hear them, I could feel them. I was just like, whoa. And a native woman showed up who was a grandmother and a native grandfather. And they were like, we're your relatives and you're this, and your family has forgotten, but that's okay. And this is who we are. And we're going to get you ready for your journey. And they did. They, within a week, had me out of self pity, had me ready to get quiet and still, had me ready to really focus on what I was going to be taking in. Because at that class, at that journey, We were taught a medicine wheel, and we were at the ocean, which was also significant to something for me, which was I was always feeling drawn to work with water. And so over the years, as that was the first awakening, I met another teacher, and she woke up another level of gifts. And it was another repeat of kind of what I did with my first teacher. She said, "Oh, you have a beautiful energy temple in your body. It's waking up, and you'll remember what you can do with it." So again, I had this in kind of my own natural innate gifts started waking up, and she validated my work, and then she ordained me. I chose to be a healing minister, a non-denominational minister. And through her teachings and her instruction, she never told me, none of them ever told me what to do. They just validated the choices I was making and the work I was already having, like expressing. And they were telling me to teach for years. They were all like, go teach, teach. And I was very reluctant to teach. It took me a very long time before I would let myself say yes to teaching. So I'm in my second elder initiation now. I'm 62, and I've only this year really stepped out more to do teaching and instruction work. But I feel more like I'm in my self mastery as a teacher now, whereas before I would have been lacking a lot. And I know that I was putting something together. So over time, I feel like I was developing these layers and pieces to my own, this is the universe of Kelley, and what she brings to the world is her gift. And my gift is not a singularity, and none of us are. I mean, we all have more than one part of expression in who we are. And in our world, our spiritual lives can be extremely expansive and multidimensional. And mine was. And so it also didn't have teachers for some of it. So I started then reaching into levels where I didn't have teachers that could even instruct me. So I had to go up,
Mm.
and I started meeting angelic families and masters and holy beings that and the Divine Mother, which she showed up when she showed up the most in the most beautiful way when I chose to end my career and take a path of being a healer, to being a person of service. Um, and when I made that choice, I had been sort of like transitioning for about 7 years between my career and starting to understand myself as someone who had healing gifts. And during that time, I ciphered a whole map. What it means to be a whole human being is the way my native ancestors would put it. And I was also learning a practice they call in the native tradition of the Cherokee people called the way, which is really about living from your heart and being kind, respectful, and caring, and practicing deep listening. So all of that is partnered with what I share, what I be, and what I teach. Yeah,
I like that. What I share, what I be, and what I teach.
yeah.
Yeah, that is the most important part, right? Walk the walk, talk the talk, do the
Yeah,
thing.
you have to be able to show up, right, and be present and be very
Absolutely. Oh my
available.
goodness. Okay, if our women would like to connect with you, how can they find you?
I have a website called lovewisdompower.com. So you can go on my website. There's a little menu bar, and you can see some of the courses that I teach. I offer what I call a dragon empowerment journey kind of check in. If you want to sign up, anyone can sign up for a free 45-minute interview with me to meet me and to let our hearts connect so we can see if I can hear from you what you're going through, what your challenges or desires or goals are. And they don't always have to be, we don't always have to be working through something painful. A lot of times people come to me to just say, I want to go to the next level, and I know there's stuff in the way and I need to get over some humps. Can you help me get there? And a lot of times those people are like my favorite people to work with, because there's just little pieces of things they're just waiting for. When they land in, they just boom. It's just like watching a flower bloom in the garden really fast. So I always like to get those fresh, ready to bloom flower people. They're just like, ooh, they're a rose. Look at you. You just, woo, you just gave birth to yourself. You're amazing. And you didn't need much, you just needed a little bit of information, and all that did was take care of it. So people can come to me and work at a deeper level if there's something really traumatic that you've been through. Oftentimes, if you've been working on something that's been heavy for a while and you find that you haven't broken through, I have a lot of success helping people get to core wounding. And when I do core integration work, it's working with the hidden, our what I call our little secret box inside of us. We oftentimes have, without even knowing it, closeted or put in a tucked away place in our deep unconscious, our pain bodies. And when we can reach into that and find that aspect of the self and then assist it in being able to change its consciousness, we can really get free of old patterns and conquer triggers and conquer our pain body into, transmuting it back into I'm here to love and be loved,
Yeah.
which is prime directive of the self. So, and the instinct of the self that we're all born with, you know. So people can do one-on-one work with me, and I also teach some free master classes now. I'm getting into sharing those. I have some that will be coming up in the next month. I don't have those up yet because I'm just getting those organized, but I have a whole history story with my experience with elementals and the dragons that are awakening on the earth, that are what I call the dragons of light and ascension and the guardians of the earth. Our elemental power and our elemental consciousness is going through an awakening that has been escalating for the last 7 years. And it's getting to a higher pitch where many people may see or notice dragons and are like, want to know why they're showing up in their meditation. And many of you like me may have found that, nobody around you knows what dragons are about. And so for many, many years, for 25 years, I've been working with them because they showed up for me that way 25 years ago. And I was like, even my teachers didn't know what to say to me about dragons, but dragons were in the native families that I was related to, and they were spoken of as thunderbirds and part of the sky kingdom, and the elemental world and what we call forces of nature. So learning how to be in our deepest connection with the forces of nature has given my students and myself a greater sense of having allies in the earth that we can lean into when we need to find advice or succor, some love, something to work out. Knowing how to talk to the ocean is different than just going to look at it or
Right.
sit by it, but having it speak to you. And so learning how to have this deeper communion with life around us, um, to me, the source, the divine, is coming through everything in creation. So to me, that God source can speak to us from everywhere. And, I always joke, Moses talked to a burning bush. I mean, I'm just saying. So, it's like, you know, when we find our divinity, and we're divinely informed, the divine can speak to us from a lot of different directions. I even joke with my students, pay attention when you're driving down the road at what that truck next to you says on
Right.
the side of the truck, because sometimes we're getting messages unaware, and we get a flash of something, and then, well, there's something here. And I'm a bit of a deer medicine person, so when I'm looking for I notice things, they're like signals, and deer is always very signal watcher. And then I have the eagle medicine, my bird clan, where we kind of I put it all together, and it's like, what did I make of those signals? And there it is. Now I know what's going on. I'm being told something.
Right.
So sometimes we get messages that way.
Yeah. It's awesome. And it's so, once you learn how to tap in and you get to be aware, it is so incredible and exciting. And you want to be awake because you want to notice when those things are happening because they're happening all the time. And
Well,
yeah,
and I think that's true. In fact, in my experience with that, when you go through awakening and you're practicing with awareness, there's not an off switch.
right,
So when you go into practicing being an aware practitioner, awareness is an ongoing experience in the moment. And being present with awareness, many of us are always trying to be as aware as possible, but we have moments where we dip out and dip in and pop in and out of it. And so I think sometimes, it's like we have this opportunity to be that we're in, sitting in this place of possibility consciousness. And I know that for me and a lot of people I've met, I've experienced this where once I started turning that power in me over to a divine source, asking the light to be my guide, the divinity to be my guardian, to guard, protect, and guide me, things became extremely synchronistic in my life, and they would hit into purpose and meaning very fast, and things would come together that fit. Was supposed to meet you today and be right here, right now. I
right,
don't even know the reasons why, but I said yes. So, and an invitation came. So a lot of times I'm just like going where I'm invited. And when a
right,
door opens, you just come through it. And maybe somebody out there listening right now needed to hear what I'm saying. And sometimes it might even be that they're getting inspiration and knowledge or even some healing from this conversation. Maybe somebody needs my gifts and is going to want to come and work with me. And then, or maybe they just needed to hear the two of us talking to each other and see our smiles.
right.
And sometimes the medicine of what people are taking from what we're giving can be more than one thing. It doesn't always have to be what we think of in terms of results or connection.
Oh, so true. Yes, if it resonates with you, it's for you. If it doesn't, just leave it. You don't have to take it. I think that's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, women of the Women's Wellness Network, we are going to put all of Kelley's contact information into the comment section so that you can find out more about her. Maybe check out the dragon stuff.
I also
I think
have
that's so
Facebook.
exciting.
I also have a really I have a Facebook page,
Oh,
and I have a couple of Facebook pages, but my Facebook page under just Kelley Springer is the one I work with the most.
okay.
And then I also have a light language dash art, is a place where I share a lot of inspiration and love with people that I just give away. I give a lot of art and positive affirmations on that page.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds lovely. Okay, we're going to put all of that there too then. There's
Awesome. I'll
lots,
send you the link.
lots to dig into and check out, right? There's no
Yeah.
excuses. I always say there's no excuses. We've got enough going on this network to find something for somebody, I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah.
we're at the Women's Wellness Network. As I said, we're going to put all those contact links into the comment section. And Kelley, is there anything else you would like to share with us before we sign off?
I think I would. There is one more thing I'd like to share, especially for women. I'm just stepping in to be part of the core council on a beautiful group called the Global Grandmothers Council Network. This is a Facebook group that then grew to be over 55,000 internationally women coming together. And what I would speak to that is the grandmother voice is on the rise. The elder woman wisdom voice is coming up, and she lives in all of us. So This group is starting a new platform. It is starting its own platform for women, and it's been designed on a flowering language, as a garden. And so there's seeds, which is their free entry into the platform. Then there's flowers, which is the mid-range entry into the platform that gives you certain benefits. And then there's fruits and nuts, which is, what's dropping off the trees. That group, the upper end, has a way to be given the platform for an academy that is going to be there, education. We're going to have a marketplace so women can launch their courses and offer things to one another. We're doing something right now, we're discussing, because this is really birthing, like it's brand new. We're birthing like immediately into this new platform and going to be opening it up in the early part of November for people to come in and join. The platform opened for a moment, and then we are kind of getting the first beta setup done, and then it's going to expand into something greater. I'm part of a council circle, so I'm overseeing and lead council for our events.
Mm.
And so we're going to be doing an official launch in December on the 12/12. So when you join our group, you'll be getting all that information. But this is a pretty amazing group of really diverse women from all over the world, from over 50 countries. And I think for us, being this able to be that strong as a group, it grew really rapidly. And I think the power of women is speaking to themselves in the way in which it came together, that we are ready to demonstrate greater respect and honor and love for each other. And I think women as a whole are ready to start looking at ways to invent and create the systems and structures that we want to see in the world, that can come in the moments when we're going to really need them. I have a really deep belief and have studied a bit the feminine brain. And I believe as female brains, we have an actual skill for organization and structure that is part of being mothers. Whether you've mothered children or not, your feminine brain has this quality and this ability that male brains don't have. And I'm not, this is nothing against men. This is just an understanding about something that's different about us.
Right.
And, and that in the nature of who we are, there is something that women are really going to be putting together and bringing that I think is going to be very important for healing our future and helping us as societies, as governments, as cultures, to put some things back together and heal what has happened and overcome where we've been and bridge us to where we need to get to. And if the visions that I'm being shown by the Divine Mother are true, we're headed for some incredible opportunities to invent together and to bring realizations of things into place that we won't know until we're there together doing it.
Right.
And so I think this time to come together with each other is vital. I think that's true for all people on the planet, not just women. But it's really amazing how many organizations and groups I'm meeting, even like yours here, that are giving women voices and are putting women in a place to be heard. And it's really our time to come together and work together more in our world. And um, I think it's really exciting. And everything has its challenges, because you can't be in our world and not have those.
Mm.
So,
Right.
and be
Still human.
human. But I do believe that, our hearts have an incredible capacity to do things we have not even realized yet. And I think um, that human potential is our greatest asset.
Yeah, totally agree. Amazing. Amazing. It sounds like it's going to be incredible. We are doing something very similar to that here on the Women's Wellness Network, opening a platform and all those things. And we are also a garden, so that's super cool. Aligning again with that.
Yeah, we're team
It's
partners.
yeah, it's very awesome. So yeah, we will definitely put all that information into the comments because I want to check that out. Also, it
Yeah.
sounds incredible. And I know, there's a lot of women out there who are just starting
Mhm.
to step into their elder role, into that, discovering that they even have wisdom. So yeah, great place to start. That sounds amazing. So
Yeah.
the women's
Elder
wellness.
initiation is important.
Yeah, oh, totally it is. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, it is. And just start. I think that's the thing, right? Just start. And eventually,
Yep.
it will all open up because it's
Yep.
our birthright and that's where we're going.
Going. I like to say go, grow, and glow.
Oh, I love all those. Yes. And you're
Get your
glowing.
jeans on, grandmas.
You see you? You have this, you have the glow around you like the tree, but the
My
middle of the
tree.
tree, it looks like you're wearing a crown.
I got my crown on.
The glow crown. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. Well, thank you very much for coming today, Kelly. It was really nice to meet you and
It
find
was,
out all the things about you because
yeah,
I have a lot to
yeah.
offer. Yeah, very cool. I'm super interested in the dragon aspect. I've only dove into that a little bit myself, so I would like to know some more.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, amazing. So, Women of the Women's Wellness Network, of course, thank you for watching. And of course, until next time, be well. And Kelly, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Wonderful.
Mhm.